Logocentrifugal podcast. I'm Chance Lunsford. I'm also Logocentrifugal. Maybe you are too. While you try to figure that out, let me introduce today's special guest. I have with me the one and only Mr. Andrew Tate. We got four-time world champion kickboxer. We got master of the war room. We've got more resurrections on social media than Lazarus 10 times over.
I'm hard to kill, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Mr. Hard to kill himself.
Exactly. I'm a master of Aikido. I went to Japan when I was 17 years old and I trained with the masters, and I returned to the West to join Hollywood. And then I made a movie called Hard to Kill because I'm Steven Seagal.
Well, there's only one Steven Seagal, and I'll let you take that up with him. Maybe you can claim the belt. But beyond that, you know, most of the people who listen to this are going to know who you are, but why don't you fill in any gaps I might have missed there that you want to let people know about War Room or something like this?
Yeah. What gaps can I say? I mean, like you said, a lot of people who are watching this probably know who I am. If you don't know who I am, what the fuck you been doing with your life? You're missing out on all my drama. But yeah, I'm a kickboxer, retired, turned. I don't want to use the word entrepreneur because I don't see myself as an entrepreneur at all. I see myself as a, what's the word? Hustler is the word, but I don't like that word because the idea of hustling is do anything it takes to make money and be quick and just be on the task. But people use it for bullshit, like selling their old shoes. Like, you know, I made $10, I sold my own. That's what they say hustling is. My idea of hustling is generating millions of dollars from the sky. But I'm certainly not an entrepreneur. I'm a guy who needs money to live the lifestyle that he wants to live, so I find some. And thinking of returning to fighting soon. And yeah, I run my mouth on Twitter, but that's basically it. Hiding out here in Romania. So yeah, that's who I am. And as for the War Room, as you said, the War Room is a private members community I have on the website, cobratate.com. We have 400 members now. We're growing stronger by the day. We're doing 5 or 6 events a year. So that's very, very exciting, changing lives for everyone involved. So if you don't know about the War Room, once again, you're missing out.
So I picked up on a couple things there, and one of them is last time I talked to you, you talked about considering returning to fighting, and I wanted to ask you about that because it sounds like you're still thinking about it. And I guess are you still on the fence, or have you decided one way or the other? Or where are you at with that?
Yeah, I've decided to fight next year, but it's difficult, man. It's very hard. My heart says yes, and my head says no. But I'm a logically driven person. So I always listen to my head. But it's hard when your heart tells you to do the same thing every single day. It's difficult. I'm living in purgatory, stuck in the middle. And sometimes I'm like 100% certain yes. Sometimes I'm 100% certain no. It's very, very difficult. And people would say, well, why is it difficult? Well, it's just difficult because fighting is not something you choose to do. Fighting is something you have to do. Anyone who's a professional fighter has to fight. Because fighting is the worst sport in the world. Like there's no, it's the worst career path possible. 99.9% of fighters make no money. You're risking death. You're risking injury. Even if you end up a millionaire, you're spending the large majority of your career broke in some bullshit gym, struggling for no reason. It's hard. It's underappreciated. I mean, it's fine when you win, but eventually you lose and all the couch potatoes laugh at you. Like it's the most bullshit sport. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Why wouldn't you just play football and be a millionaire and put a ball in it? Why would you go through hell for probably no reward at all? And the answer is because you don't have a choice. Because warriors are born. Warriors are not made. Warriors are born. And if you're born a warrior, you have to fight. You just have to fight. People say, why do you fight? It's like, because I have to. So why? It's because I have to. I have to fight. Because fighting is the purest form of competition. This is the thing, man. I scroll up and down on Twitter and I see people like, oh, I don't know, my basketball game. I won my basketball game. I won my jiu-jitsu competition. Even jiu-jitsu, which is bullshit. It's watered down fight. But I'll carry on. My basketball game or whatever. All sport ever was a replacement for war. That's all it ever was. Like there was wars between tribes of people. They'd have a fight. And the people who didn't die was in charge. But then they sit there and go, you know what, instead of killing each other, let's just play this game, which is kind of like a replay. You know, we'll play football or something. or a wrestling match. And then no one has to die to see who the winner is. So that's all competition's ever been. And fighting's the purest form of competition. So like, if once you've been a fighter, what other competition matters? Like, how can I possibly have interest in putting a ball in a net when I've been smashing people's skulls in for 15 years? Like, who gives a fuck about putting a ball in a net? Who cares? Who cares if I win? Who cares if I put the ball in net 20 times and he puts it in 0? So I didn't whoop his ass in front of his wife. I didn't do shit. Nothing. So like, and on top of that, you add in the element that fighting is a genuine adrenaline rush because it's life or death. So then you add in the boredom element. Like, what in life is entertaining after years of professional fighting? You think I can go to the movies and be like, wow, great movie, man. That was wow. Think I can read a fucking comic book like a dork? Sit there entertained? I make millions of dollars and I'm still bored. I'm still sitting there. I can make $100,000 a day and be like, whatever. But if I win a fight, it's different because it's life or death. I survived. When the feeling of a fight being over is like getting the all clear from cancer. Like, imagine you've got like a cancer diagnosis and you have 0% chance of survival, or 50-50. And for 3 months, 5 hours a day, you're at the doctor's doing the best you can to try and survive. And then bang, it's over. Yes, all clear. It's that level of like relief and joy. You can't replicate it with normality. There's no replication for it. So when you retire, you're just like, oh, this is why all fighters, when they retire, end up depressed or blowing their brains out or something. This is like, nothing in life compares to it on any level. When you're a fighter, you raise the bar so high that you realize how shit normal life is. Shit is boring and nothing interesting ever happens. Ever. Nothing interesting happens. You eat, you see your aunt now and again. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, though. Or like, and when I see people on Twitter like so excited about, hey, fucking Little League, whatever, you're a dork. If you knew about genuine competition and genuine sport and genuine adversity and genuine life or death and genuine grit and genuine pain, if you knew about the genuine shit, you'd understand genuine joy, and you realize that everything else is just a cheap imitation. So that's why I still feel like I need to fight. But my head tells me, Andrew, you're a fucking multimillionaire with every supercar under the sun, living in a mansion with other shit to do besides train all day and fight some 24-year-old psycho from Kazakhstan. So it's complicated.
Yeah, man.
That's my answer.
You know, that's funny. I'm not a fighter in the professional sense, but I've had a big enough mouth most of my life to have been in some fights. And I don't like getting punched in the face, dude. It pisses me off. It makes me want to punch you back, and like more times than you punch me. And I was like, fuck you, man.
Well, that's a good way to be. The problem is when you fight at my level, when you get punched in the face, you can't really punch back that well. So like with me, like, this is another thing about it. Fighting, most people's experiences of fighting are purely emotional, like you just described there. I've never really been nervous in a street fight because I'm angry, or there's a reason, or he's touched my girlfriend, or he's pissed me off. But I was scared before every single fight because there's no emotionality attached. You understand where I'm coming from? It's like, on this date, you fight this man here. And you know for 3 months he's dedicated his life to being as dangerous as possible to hurt you. And you've done the same thing. But there's none of that, there's no anger. So it's a business transaction. And for that reason, it makes it far more daunting. And of course, the consequence of fighting is different to any other sport. Ronaldo how many games has Ronaldo lost? I don't even know. I'm sure he's lost plenty. How many times has his team lost? Loads. How many tennis matches has Nadal lost? Loads. I mean, he wins, but he's lost plenty. Because that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as a fighter, you lose once. Ooh, you lost. They're going to remind you of that shit. Everyone's going to remind you of that shit forever. Doesn't matter if you've won 1,000 times. You lost once. Remember when that guy kicked your ass? So it's like, it's high pressure. It's high stakes. It's like the highest stakes game you can play. You can get knocked out and never wake up again.
Yeah.
It's the highest stakes game. It's like playing a video game on the hardest possible difficulty for 15 years and then playing the same game on super, super easy. It's just not fun anymore. You know? That's I can't explain. There's a reason why fighters fight, and there's a reason why it's so difficult to quit. There's a reason why none of them retire when they should, because it's very difficult. If that makes, maybe this doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
There's this thing that makes me think of, as you were talking about that. I always think back to George Foreman and Muhammad Ali and the fight that they had, and how devastated George Foreman was afterwards, because I mean, he was the baddest fucker on the planet. He thought he was pretty sure, and most everybody else was pretty sure too. I mean, he was hitting people so hard they didn't know what to do with themselves afterwards, and Muhammad Ali knew that. And he went in there and just rope-a-doped that guy into submission. And that's that classic picture of Muhammad Ali with his fist.
Yep.
But he doesn't punch him. He just lets him collapse to the ground because he's already beaten. And George Foreman talked about that. And he said for 6 months, he couldn't even come out of his room. He was in a deep depression because he couldn't understand how he'd gotten his ass beaten by a guy like that. And it messed him up. And then, he came out of that. And I mean, he fought and everything again, and he did something impressive in his later years, but then he turned into this just like smiling goofball selling grills too. I mean, there's this, he came back and fought and did his thing. And then he named all of his sons George and his daughter Georgina and sold grills. I mean, it's a weird thing that he did.
Weird career path. But I mean,
yeah, man,
at least, I mean, the reason he sold grills is because the majority of fighters just end up broke. Like, I know for a fact, the only reason I can retire, or I have retired, is because I can supplement and distract myself from my nagging feeling to fight by doing crazily expensive things. If I was still living a normal life, there's no way on God's green earth I would have retired, or could have retired. Even if I was losing every single fight and getting my ass kicked, even if I was injured and I didn't have it anymore, I would still have to fight to stay sane. But now, every time I feel like fighting, I can get in a McLaren 720S and drive like a fucking psychopath across Europe through the Alps. And I can slam 10 supermodels. And I can drink, champagne. I can spend 20 grand a night in a club. And if I do that often enough, I can distract myself from feeling like fighting for a while. But it's expensive. So the main reason I can retire is because my life outside of fighting is so exceptional. But if it was ordinary, I would be in the ring. 1,000,000,000,000%. Which also carries guilt, because then I feel like, am I wasting my youth? Am I wasting my powers? Am I just fucking around? But then there's another side of it. It's like, well, no, because you're putting all your powers into generating cash. You're doing exceptional. So there's no easy answer. I don't fucking know.
So that kind of brings me to another curiosity of mine, which is also last time we talked, you were kind of making moves and setting things up, and obviously your strategy is beginning to really pan out for you and everything, but there was a long time where you weren't operating in the same way that you are, as far as using social media to generate this vast network and to expand these operations and things. And I guess I just wonder, at what point along the way, because you've been popular on social media for quite some time, but it's only now that you're doing this thing. And I guess I wonder, what was the kind of process that led up to you understanding that you wanted to build out that network and to put it to use for you? And
I should have done it way sooner. Should have done it way sooner. I guess what happened is people for a long time were asking for my help in various regards. Doesn't matter. I mean, my first ever thing started with like the PhD course. So it doesn't matter if it was about girls or making money or whatever. People were constantly asking for my help. And my attitude was, fuck you. And then I got, after like the 1,000th request, I kind of thought, you know what? Maybe I should stop being such a dickhead. So I'll help these. Like I genuinely started all these this whole enterprise from a philanthropic point of view. Like I consider myself a philanthropist. Like, okay, everyone's asking me. I ran a webcam company. I had 75 girls work for me. Everyone understands. I obviously understand female nature. Everyone's asking me about girls. I've been asked this 1,000 times. Well, I don't want to repeat myself 1,000 times, so let me just make a video explaining basically all I know. And fuck it, I'll charge some money for it. So that's kind of how it started. It was much more like, well, people keep asking, so, and I put the PhD course together. And that's still on the website now, Tate.com. It explains everything I learned about women from start to finish when I made my millions of dollars with webcam. If anyone's watching this doesn't know I ran a webcam company, that's a whole story with itself. But yeah, so that was it. It kind of started from a philanthropic point of view, and people kept asking me different questions. people kept asking me for different things, and I've just basically just been giving people what they wanted in some regards. I mean, I'm very understanding of the fact that, and this is not bravado, this is reality. I'm very understanding of the fact that I live the stereotypical dream of most males from a shallow point of view. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect or my life's perfect. I'm saying if you just ask a man on a very shallow surface level, what do you want? They're going to say, well, a Lambo and a mansion and a bunch of chicks and money. That's basically what they're all going to say. Like, no guy's going to say no to that. I'm sure everyone wants more than that. They may want a family or whatever else below that. But that's a good surface level bullshit start, you know, a very shallow start. And I know I live that life. I know I promote that life. So a lot of people are attracted to that. And then they want to know, you know, how did you do this? How did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. So people were asking me. And I just thought, okay, I'll put it all together because people are asking. And it kind of became what it was. And when I first started it all, I wasn't like passionate about it in any way. I mean, it made me some money, but I already had money, so I didn't give a shit. But then, like, when the War Room started happening and the War Room Summit started happening and so much crazy, amazing shit started happening, then it became super cool. It's super cool people join the War Room and now, like, their lives have totally changed. They've gone from making no money to like $10,000 a month online. Their lives are totally different. And they're turning up to my events and like they've got cash. Just like, it's fucking nuts. So then it became cool, you know, and even a pessimistic bastard like me can see how cool it is to help people do that, you know? So like, it is super cool. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. I was just following, the market asked and I delivered, I guess. That's kind of how it was, because for a long time I was just bragging. I was just on Twitter bragging. I was going on Twitter every day. 10 hot chicks, Lambo, champagne. I was just bragging. I was just flexing on the broke boys. And then the broke boys started saying, how do you flex so hard? I said, well, I'll teach you. That's right, exactly. I was just flexing on the broke boys. That's how it started.
Okay. And you know, that's kind of what I was curious about, man, because a lot of what I have seen from you on Twitter is you saying things that are designed to kind of call out weenies and make them get mad at you. And then if you don't want to be a weenie, but then now this War Room thing is different. Like what you were talking about, that sort of adolescent view of what a man wants, that is like, I'm embodying this right now. I mean, a lot of your persona is playing into the fact that is sort of that's a surface layer thing and people want that and you play on that. But the War Room thing seems to be more serious and deeper. I guess I wonder if that was conscious or if that just kind of fell in your lap that way.
No. I've always been. There's a lot more to me than that, anyway. But it's just what I use. It's just what I put on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, the War Room is certainly a lot of people. The War Room's grown into something absolutely amazing. I can't talk about too much about like who's inside and what happens, but it really is fantastic inside, and there's no group like it. And there's people inside there who are in Neil Strauss's mastermind for 20 grand a year and all this crazy shit. And they're all saying there's no group like this one. So it has turned into an amazing thing. But yeah, it all just kind of started with bragging, and then as things grew, like obviously if I'm in the War Room, I get my 100% my personality, so they need a lot more than that. But with Twitter, I'm very surface level, I guess sometimes. But the reason, I guess a lot of the reason, my number one problem with Twitter isn't even my ideological adversaries, really, because I understand them. I think Twitter's full of fucking frauds. That's why I am how I am on there. I don't think, and the reason I was flexing so hard on the broke days is just to prove I was legit. Because Twitter's full of fakes, man. Twitter's full of fakes. And like, there's so many people on there just pretending to be something they're not. So one of the reasons I was so adamant to just show off was to show that I'm not full of shit. Because most people on Twitter, especially in the red pill manosphere day game, they are full of shit. And they're like anon accounts. Hey, just pulled a 9.3, banged her first night because my frame was so solid. It's just like, bro, you're a fucking geek. You're a geek. You're a fucking geek. You didn't pull no 9.3 from a mall in Winnipeg, Minnesota. A 9 is on a billionaire's boat. That's where a 9 is. And she's got 1 million followers on Instagram, minimum. You're telling me you pulled a 9 from a fucking coffee shop in your Toyota Corolla? Shut the fuck up. They're just fucking nerds. And then all these guys are giving out advice on girls. I don't even have to name names, just loads of them. I'm fucking Mr. This, I'm Mr. That, giving out advice on girls. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, you got a divorce, and you got a divorce. So you know so much about fucking girls, all your women have left you, which is fine. But you obviously don't know that much. Like, you all got fucking left. I had 75 women make me millions of dollars. Who's more qualified? Genuinely, who's more qualified? So I was like, okay. So when I'm posting me with all these hot chicks, the main point of it is just saying, well, where's all these other dudes' chicks? You're fucking red pill, Mr. Day Game, Manosphere. They're all fucking frauds. I'm the most legit guy on that website. And just the reality of it, I'm the most legit guy on Twitter. So a lot of the flexing is just proven because I don't want anyone to think I'm full of shit, and I'm not. Everything I've ever said is true. Anyone who's ever met me said, yeah, you actually downplay it. I know. And the whole fucking sphere, our area, our sphere, has a couple good guys in it and a shitload of fakers. Shitloads. You know as well as me, man. You read through something, you're just like, whatever. Like, I can smell bullshit from a million miles away. So everyone's just frauds on there. So that's one of the main reasons I came through flexing, you know, and had to upset some people. It's just because there's no other way to prove true. What's the word I'm looking for? So the only way to certify yourself is absolutely congruent to the truth. It's just show evidence, show your receipts. And that's the war room mantra, show your receipts. I've done this, show me. Oh, next week, no, fuck off, then you ain't done nothing. It's the reality of life.
Yeah, man. I like that. Look, I had my times with frauds and anons on there too. And then the fraud call out hashtag or some shit like this. It's like, oh man, bro, you've never even shown your face on here or said your name.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you want to call out a fraud?
Okay, you know
get the fuck out of here.
Let's name names. So, like, Illimitable Man. So this dude, Pussyhole, is an anon. He's been an anon forever because he's afraid. Okay, sorry, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pause because I'm about to beef some people. I'm getting angry. So let me just chill. All right, back to it. All right. So, if you're too pussy to put your name and your face on your Twitter profile, then you already are a bitch. Done. If you're too pussy to put your name and your face on your own Twitter, on your own account, then you're a bitch. Every anon is a pussy. All. And they're gonna sit and they go, oh, but you don't understand when you're in the professional corporate, that you ain't in corporate, you work in fucking Starbucks, nerd. Talking shit, you ain't in no fucking corporate job. And even if you are, I make more per day than you do per month. So who gives a fuck about your job? You probably need to get fired. So anyone who's an anon is a pussy. A Limitable Man's an anon with a whole bunch of followers chatting shit. And he's getting fresh, and like, it was a long thing with me and him. He used to try and call me out and say things to me on the sly, whatever. But he used to say relatively intelligent musings on females. And then it all came out. He had an internet girlfriend who he's never met in his life. And they were together for 9 months over the internet. And she dumped him, and he had a mental breakdown on Twitter in front of everyone because his 9-month internet girlfriend dumped him. This is the dude who was telling people how to deal with girls. If that doesn't prove the internet's full of fucking frauds, like, what more do you need to, like, what more is there? Why is every leader in the red pill space just a bitter dude who got dumped in a divorce? All. So if you know so much about chicks, why can't you even just stay married? They're all geeks. They look like geeks. And by the logic of the eternal Tristan Tate, if you look like a geek, you must be one. If you look like a geek, you won't be a geek. It's the reality. They're all nerds. So I am the Lord Supreme Commander of that corner of Twitter. No one can step to me in any serious regard. To disagree with me and to step to me in any regard is only to discredit yourself. Because if you cannot acknowledge my supreme abilities and undeniable achievements, then you're nothing but a hater. If you're a hater, you're a little bitch. You cannot come on Twitter and type, Tate doesn't understand females, and press enter without doing anything other than making yourself look stupid. I don't even have to reply. You look like a dickhead if you type that. And everyone knows you're a dickhead. They're like, okay, this dude doesn't know shit. Because if you think Tate doesn't know shit, you don't know shit. That's it. So I'm basically Supreme Commander of Twitter. I'm basically Lord of all beasts of the land and fishes in the sea. So that's the answer to the question. I'm the Lord of all beasts on the land and fishes in the sea. That's the answer.
You crack me up, man. That's funny.
Bro, it's the truth.
Let me calm down for a second.
and fishes of the sea. Who's going to step to me? I know who doesn't like me out there. I know who they all are. And then and none of them will at me. None of them. Illimitable Man's the only one who kind of half atted me when his girlfriend dumped him, and me and his girlfriend were making fun of him in the inbox. His girlfriend was like, yeah, he's a fucking loser. And I was sitting there going, yeah, I know, the loser. Making fun of him. His girl, he was crying over his chick, and she was making fun of him, sending me the screenshots of him telling her he's going to kill himself.
Some people like catfish, dude, you know?
This is a dude who teaches how to get girls. Like, I know who these people are, man. They're all fucking bumblecluts. I know who doesn't like me. There's loads of dudes who don't like me, but they can't say anything. What can you do? What can you do when your brand is entrepreneurs in cars, and I have more cars than you, more money than you, and I've never been divorce raped, and I don't pay for girls to be with me, I don't buy prostitutes? How can you at me on Twitter? Like, what can you say to me? Like, it's just, I'm untouchable. I'm like fucking, I don't know, name someone untouchable.
Steven Seagal.
I'm Steven motherfucking Seagal.
Nice callback. Solid.
So what are you gonna say? You can't say shit to Big Daddy Tate.
Yeah.
Then what happened was, to add to it all, that Mike Stitchbury guy, I knocked on his door. That put waves through the Twitter world because I was like, shit, Tate's crazy. He turns up your house. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'll knock on your door. You got something to say to me? No problem. I'll knock on your door. That's not even a threat. I'm not even threatening anybody. I'm just saying I will come. And I will knock. I'll say hello. We'll see if you have the same demeanor when I'm standing there.
Huh.
And you won't. You're a pussy. And I've got all the money and time in the world. I can fly to anywhere on this planet. I don't care if you live in Timbuktu, motherfucking too. I will turn up first class.
Shit, dude, you're not even hiring a private jet.
You know, I'm not into private flying yet. In fact, I said to Tristan only a couple of days ago, I need to get a private jet just to get Instagram pictures to flex on the broke boys. So we called a private jet company, and we were looking at flights from Bucharest somewhere nearby, like a 1-hour flight. But there's very few private jets in Romania. It's not like from London to Paris is actually quite cheap. You can do it for like $5,000. You can get a jet because it's so often. But Romania, the only private jets are actually owned by people, by like the politicians and stuff. So to get a private jet here, it's like $20,000 to get it here. And then it's another flight there and then another flight back. This is going to cost me like $60,000 or something. Shit. The next time I'm in, which ain't worth it for Instagram. The next time I'm in London, I'm going to fly to Paris on a private jet. Me, Tristan, 10 of my females. I'm going to try and bring a dog as well, like my dog, luggage, booze, just to make the broke boys upset. Got to flex on the broke boys. Got to remind them
that they're broke boys.
Yeah, the broke boys need reminding. The broke boys need reminding. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay, so here's the thing I'm curious about. You've been bringing guys out to where you're at and sort of taking them under your wing or putting them to work for you. And it seems to be everybody who comes out there seems to have a pretty good feeling about the things that have transpired there and the things that they've learned. And, I talked to Dylan on this podcast just before he came out there. And I've kept abreast of what like AJ's doing and everything. And I guess I wonder, it's been my experience that connecting with people in this way from Twitter or from these successful dudes, I always try to take something from each of them. And I know like AJ came out there and maybe gave you some information for exercise or whatever. And I guess I'm curious how much of this is conscious. Like you have a vision of what you're going for, and then you see a gap and you bring somebody to fill it, or whether it's just a relationship thing. How do you decide these people that you're going to be working like intimately with or bringing into your really close tight circle?
Okay,
I guess
so,
I wonder
so
what the
there are
process
two
is.
things. There are two things.
Sure.
So one is work and one is just entertaining people. Sometimes they cross over, but we'll keep them separate. So if I'm entertaining people, I really genuinely, and this is not said ironically, consider myself a super nice guy. I think I'm a nice guy, and people are not going to believe me. Like, what? You're not a nice guy. You're a dickhead. I don't know anyone like me, and I'm talking about people with more money than me, who will pick up every bill they sit in front of, who will spend $20,000 on champagne so everyone else can have fun when he ain't even drinking, who will take everyone out, who will just, I'm the least frugal human on earth. If I have $10, I'll spend it all. Don't give a shit. So I consider myself an excellent host. If people come to Romania, I go out of my way and clear my schedule to do activities I wouldn't normally do to make sure they enjoy their time. I'm the best host on earth, and I'll pay for the whole fucking thing. So I consider myself a very nice guy. And I do that just because that's the kind of person I am. I'm a nice man. That's why. That's why I do it, because I'm a nice man. If I like you, I want you to have fun. I understand that I'm relatively, I'm not rich, but I'm relatively fortunate financially, and I'm happy to pay for it because I want you to enjoy your time, and it's my gift to you. That's one thing. The people who I hire to work for me, working for me is exceptionally difficult. I'm not going to sit and pretend it's easy, because everything good in life comes at the end of difficulty. So I have to find people who understand that. Like this ain't, I'm not just like, oh, send me your CV and okay, maybe I've seen your CV, we'll test. No, I don't want bumblecluts working for me. I can't stand that. Like I can't have bumblecluts working for me. Like the people who work for me have to be capable of dealing with the realities of Earth. Realities of Earth is that we need to make shitloads of money. We need to do it now. And if you fuck with me too tough, I'll punch you in the face. That's who I am as a man. So the people who work for me need to understand that. So it's my team it's a very unique individuals. But anyone who can work with me for long enough is going to leave with the life skills it takes to be a millionaire. Like making money really isn't that difficult. What's difficult is finding people you can make money with who aren't fucking morons. This is the only problem I have left in my life, is finding staff who aren't dickheads. It's super hard. It's super hard. Like really, it's genuinely super hard to do. So if like when people sit and go, oh yeah, and I don't know, like everyone has different philosophies to business. My philosophy to business is probably completely different than everyone else's. But when I see like people just, oh, I've put a team together in 2 weeks and there's 10 of us, I'm sitting there thinking, if you found 10 people in 2 weeks, 9 are shit. Fact.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, it's probably 10. Like I don't care what's on their CV, they're shit. You know? So it's finding good people. Like I don't hire people because I have a gap. I hire people based on who they are and I find a gap. So if I find someone now who I think is good, I'll hire them anyway. I'll find them a job later. If their attitude's right and they understand, then I'll hire them and I'll find a job. As opposed to thinking, I need someone for this, let me find someone. I do it the other way around. You know, but it's so rare I find people who genuinely understand the mission to conquer Earth. You can't be lord of all beasts on the land, fishes in the sea. You can't pay your rent.
True enough.
Then you ain't shit. So that's how it goes.
That's interesting. One of the things there that I kind of hit a note of curiosity on is, you know, you run your business a certain way and you have expectations. You know, like if you fuck with me, I'm going to punch you. Yeah. Don't do that. I have a mission. I'm trying to do this. If you're coming to work here, then you're helping me do this mission and you're giving me everything you got. That's what I expect. Yeah. That's not really possible here in the United States, for example.
No, when I say fuck with me, I'm not saying I'll be on my staff. What I'm saying is if you fuck with me too tough, that's a general rule for life. So it doesn't matter if you're a member of staff or a guest or whatever. If you fuck with me too tough, then I'm not going to argue with you. It's going to get physical. That's a confrontation. I'm not going to sit there and fucking argue like a female. I'm not going to scream at each other. It doesn't matter if it's about work or anything else. You want to step to me, then let's go.
Well, and I'm with you. I'm with you on that. That's kind of what I'm saying, though. Like, so much of business in the United States is full, like, bitch.
Yeah, of course. America's a failed society. You want to talk about America? You ain't gonna worry about employment law is a joke. But let's talk about a bigger joke. Let's talk about fucking drag queen story hour. Let's talk about marrying a chick who refuses to suck your dick and then leaves you, takes all your stuff, and you have to pay her money for the rest of her life so she has enough money for gas to drive over to that dude's house and suck his dick. When you talk about America, America's a failed society. Of course, America, you can't do anything. Of course, America, you can't fire incompetent imbeciles. Oh, I can't fire him because his employment contract. Listen, I will close my company before I continue to pay a pussy-o who doesn't deserve it. And I'll start a new one with a new name, Tate's Company 2. And I'll hire everyone but his stupid ass. And if he's a problem, he can take me to court. And even if he wins, he's going to have to catch me outside. I ain't having it. I'm not having that bullshit. So yeah, employment law, yeah, the West, yeah, America. America's a failed society. So don't even worry about the employment law. You got to worry about other shit. You got to worry about bumping into chick in fucking Kroger's and her turning around and saying it was sexual assault and you end up getting genuinely sexually assaulted with a fucking big black dick up your ass in county jail. Failed society. Fuck America. Fuck the West. It's finished. Any man who refuses to leave is a coward. It's a shithole. Get out. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. I did the right thing. I ran away. I can't change the world. What am I going to do? Sit on Twitter all day? Oh, conservative values. What the fuck? Who can't get banned? 12-hour shadow ban? It's bullshit. It's over. The people who control all the information people see. Google, the people who control what people see. When you type in Donald Trump to Google, they can control if it's good things or bad things. They control all the information in the world, and they've decided to turn all men into cucks. You think you're going to win? You're going to beat Google? How are you going to beat Google? It's over. Leave. This is what I say to everyone. Get the fuck out. Oh, yeah, but it's not that simple. Really, it is. Book a ticket. Oh, but what if I stay in America and get a prenup? Listen, if you're a little bumbleclaw answers. You're going to stay in America, you deserve what happens to you. You're going to stay in England, you deserve what happens to you. When you get divorce raped and your wife takes your kids from you and decides to make them all transgender, and your son is now taking hormone replacement at 7 years old and has changed his name to Brittany, don't come in the war room, complain about it. I'm going to kick you the fuck out. And there's no refunds. I'll keep your money. The West is done. The West is done. Because this is all I talk about. And every time I say leave, people go, well, it's not that simple. Any other answers? No, there is no other answer. The West is a failed society, and there is no other answer. And it's not getting better anytime soon. And you're not going to fix it with your fucking Twitter account, writing about conservative bullshit. Nobody cares. The liberals win every single fucking time. When's the last time the conservatives have stuck their guns on anything and it actually happened or worked? Tell me when they've won a battle, ever. This is stupid. It's stupid and it's a waste of time. Fucking leave. So yeah, in America you can't do that. But then my answer to you is, why are you living in America? Why the fuck are you still living there? Why? Leave. Go somewhere else. It's a big wide world. I live in Romania, a poor country. I live 10 minutes from a Lamborghini garage. I guarantee I can go to nicer restaurants here than you can anywhere in fucking America. I can walk the streets at night, you're safe. There's no excrement or needles on the floor. It's better here in every measurable metric. Every single human metric, it's better here. America is a failed society. So my answer to you is yes, I agree, but fuck America.
When you look at it from the outside like that and you feel like you have a clear vision of it, I mean, I wonder how much of that inspired you to leave, or how much of it was just you were somewhere else and noticed what you were looking back on and decided to stay.
My quest for wealth has always been a quest for freedom, because I refuse to be constrained. And everybody is constrained, including me now to this day, by the number of dollars they have in their bank account. That's what constrains you. Can you go to Japan tomorrow and live there forever? No. Why? Can't afford it. That's why. It's not even visa, it's not even immigration, it's not even governments that are constraining you, it's money. My quest for finances has always been a quest for freedom. I like to do whatever I want, whenever I want. If I want a McLaren and a Lambo and an Aston, if I want them all, I want them all. If I want to go stay in a 5-star hotel, I want to. If I see a beautiful woman and she lives 7 hours away, I want to jump in my Lamborghini and drive 7 hours through the mountains on Tuesday to go smash some beautiful woman instead of going to fucking work. That's what I want to do. When I got a load of money in the West, I realized that even with money, you're not free. I can give you $10 million today. You go break the speed limit, you're still going to fucking jail. You bump into a girl in Kroger, you're still going to get a sexual assault case. Your wife's still going to take half your money, and she'll still take your kids, and she'll still fucking turn one of them into a transgender. And you ain't going to be able to do shit. So money, even in the West, can't make you a free individual. So once I started making money, I realized that. I thought, I need to go somewhere where I'm actually basically free. I don't want to live in a lawless society. I want to live in a society where laws are, you know. So the police come and say, why did you kill that man? I say, he insulted my wife. Look at the CCTV. He insulted my wife and he slapped my wife, so I stabbed him. And they'll go, yeah, that makes sense. All right, no problem. Bribe, done. I like living in that kind of society. I like living in a society where I drive too fast and they stop me and go, why are you driving like that? Bro, it's a Lambo and the road's empty. Sorry. Do you want a cigar? Yeah, I'll have a cigar. Oh, duh. What's your name? Bogdan. My name's Andrew. Okay, bye. Instead of get on the ground, you did 56 miles an hour. It's bullshit. The West is a fucking failed society. It's bullshit. You're not free in the West. I'm free here. So I left with a quest for freedom. I've been to 73 or 74, I can't remember countries. And the country I found that was the happiest medium between genuine civilization and freedom was Romania. Now, there's a caveat I want to add in here. Because on Twitter, I advocate Romania being paradise. And everyone talks about how they want to come to Romania. There's two things. There's something very clear I want to make everyone understand. Romania and Romania with me are completely different experiences. If you come to Romania and you don't know anybody and you're Jack Nova and you just turn up, you're going to fucking hate it. Because the people are unfriendly. There's zero tourist help. The bureaucracy is impossible. Like, you're not going to just turn up in Romania and have fun. But Romania with me is different because I am the lord of all beasts of the land and fishes of the sea, Romania included. So when everyone comes here and they have such a great time, it's not just because it's Romania, it's also because they're in Romania with me, the Don. And I'm connected all the way up to the highest of political levels. So of course I know where the parties are. Of course we can drink drunk drive. Of course we have fucking hoes all over the house. Of course we can do all this crazy shit. Of course we're living a rock star life like you've never seen because you're with me. You can't do that when you're not with me. So they are very different things. I've built a reputation here, which is, what's the word? I'm Steven fucking Seagal. I'm Steven. So I live a life here that Chris Brown couldn't even live in fucking America because he'll get hit with a sexual assault case. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm a G. So they're different things. But Romania is the happiest medium I've ever discovered between freedom and genuine civilization. And anyone who lives in the West is not free. You're not even free to say what you want, bro. You can't even tweet what you really think because you'll lose your fucking job. You're not even free to fucking talk. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can say whatever I want. When I said depression wasn't real, the Romanian UFC, it's called RXF, the Romanian version of UFC, I commentated for them. They got 30 emails from people saying that they should fire me because I'm bad for the brand and I'm advocating people to kill themselves. And it's like all these emails, like the liberals tried to like do what they do everywhere else and get me fired. And when I went in to commentate, the owner of RXF, who's a good friend of mine, had them all printed out. And me and him were just reading through them in fits of hysterical laughter. And he was like, what the fuck is this? It's like, bro, that's the West. If this was a Western company, I'd be fired. He was laughing his ass off. Then I commentated, everything continued as well. You're free here. You're not even free to talk in America. Land of the free. Free to do what? You can't even have an open beer on the fuck in your car, even if you didn't drink it. Jail, arrest him, tackle him to the ground, accidentally police shoot. It's bullshit. It's a failed society. The West is a failed society. And I'm not out to fix it. I want to make something very, very clear from a political standpoint for all the conservative red pill. I'm not trying to fix the West because it's unsavable. You cannot save a country where half the population hates the country. At least half, if not more. Liberals hate America. So how are you going to save it? You can't save it. It's over and it's disintegrating from the inside out. America doesn't have external enemies. You still there? You're frozen.
Yeah, I'm here, man. I just pondering.
Right. So, like, America doesn't have external enemies. America's fighting all these never-ending wars, like the enemies of America. Oh yeah, some goat farmer in Yemen. He's really going to take down the USA. You're right. You better fucking murder his family quickly. Predator drone. It's bullshit. America hasn't got any external enemies. You think Russia gives a fuck about America? Russia's just trying to raise its GDP per capita so Putin can stay in power. It's the only reason he stayed in power is because he made everyone's quality of life so much better. These countries are focused on themselves. America's worried about what else? External enemies. America has no external enemies which are even worth considering because America could squash them all like a fly in a genuine war. The enemies of America live inside of America. They vote for Alexandra whatever Cortez. They walk around fucking in pink pussy hats and they scream impeach Donald Trump. The enemies of America are right there in front of everyone's fucking face. And you're not even allowed to criticize them. You criticize them, you lose your fucking job. Failed society. Fuck America.
Yeah, man, you know, I live here and I like my home and everything. And, you know, that part of me wants to argue with you. But, I mean, I've had a million conversations and I happen to think it's true. I think that the United States and countries like it are beyond fixing at this point. They're going to have to break and then something new is going to have to be built. And you know, whether someone stays or they leaves, you got to understand it's triage at best at this point. Parts of the way that we've been living are just going to die. They have to, because like you talked about, so many people have this thing where they hate life, and they hate people who love life, and they hate people who succeed in life, and they want to. It's this weird sort of self-sabotage that they maliciously spread out to everybody. And those are the people who are half of the country, at least, or approximately. You know, they have that foundation.
This is why I say. This is why I say to all my friends, and this is why I say in the war room: if you're sitting around discussing politics, as opposed to discussing how to make enough money to leave, then you're fucking up. The answer isn't to sit around and talk about, well, we need this law. Trump's going to save us. The answer is, how can I get $1 million and go live somewhere else? That's what you should be talking about. That's what we talk about in the war room. If you're part of any group which is talking about anything else, you're wasting your fucking time. If you're sitting there with your buddies talking politics, you are wasting your fucking time. Trump is the best anyone could have ever hoped for, and he still ain't done shit. And he'll win again, and he won't do shit again. And what comes after him? A liberal cycle. Game over. If you're sitting around talking politics as opposed to how can I make $1 million and get the fuck out of here, then you're a fool. That's the reality.
Well, it's interesting. I can't help but self-reflect right now, you know?
Well, it's reality, bro, because all the conversations you have with your friends ain't changing shit.
It's true. That's part of the reason I stepped back.
Me?
Man,
Is my
like,
video
really
cutting? Because you're starting to jump a little bit.
Huh?
See me?
Yeah, I can see you. You broke up for a second there, but okay. I think we're good. Yeah, so look, man. We've been talking for, it's coming up on an hour now. And you're good. Like you said before the podcast, you're good at talking. You can talk about anything you wanted to talk about. And we kind of hit on just your interest in returning to the fight game and what that really means for a person like you versus a person watching from the outside. We've talked about how the United States is falling apart and what you think people ought to do about that. And I guess on that sort of trajectory, and just to wrap it up, maybe I'm wondering if someone's sitting in front of you and they're like, look, man, okay, I believe you. What you just said, I want to do that. What should I do right now? What are 2 things I should do right now to get me on the correct trajectory? How can I make $1 million and get the fuck out of here? What do I need to do right now?
Good question. Here's what you do. You go to cobratate.com and you join the war room. The main objective of the war room is to do exactly that for every single member. You join the war room, you participate, you do as we say, and I guarantee within 2 short years, you'll have $1 million to get the fuck out. Done. That's it. It's that simple. That's what I tell every single person to do. There's money is freedom. Freedom is happiness. Money makes you happy. It does it via freedom. That's how it works. And when you live somewhere else where you can talk freely and do what you want to do, you will see how much time you wasted in a shithole like the West. This is coming from an American citizen. It's coming from a Trump supporter. I just know the game's up. So if you're asking what to do, join the war room, get inside. And every single day, you will see genuine, actionable advice telling you exactly what to do. There it is.
Huh. And if someone said to you, well, but what about this? What about that? Would you just tell them to fuck off and figure it out for themselves?
Basically. Probably. I mean, everyone's got this and that. I have this and that. Everyone does. But, I mean, America's, you can always visit. Always like if you have family. I mean, you can always visit. America's fine to visit. It's fine for a week. A week and a lifetime are very different things. You ain't got to worry about liberals for a week. You have to worry about it for a lifetime. You have to worry about it for a career. You ain't got to worry for a week. It doesn't matter.
Cool. Well, in that case, man, unless you got anything else left you want to say or to promote or whatever, I think I'm good.
Just the website, cobratate.com. If you have any questions, there's a live chat agent on there 24 hours a day, so you can ask them. And also, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I just want to say it quickly. I am Lord of all beasts of the land.
Well, it's a high honor indeed to have taken an hour of your time, and I appreciate you making it work. I mean, I know we've been working on this for a little while, but it's good to talk to you, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to listen to this, so I hope that they take something from it that they can use to improve their own situation. And thanks again for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, friend. Good to talk to you.
Okay. In that case, I've been Chance Lunsford. He's been Andrew Tate. And this has all been Allegedly, and we're out.